This is the 1950s in America, neon diners humming, jukeboxes glowing, drive-ins buzzing with V8 engines. Teenagers have money, cars, and freedom. For the first time, youth culture isn't just following the rules. It's inventing its own. Nickel jukeboxes, soda fountains, and after-school dances become laboratories for rebellion. Radio DJs chase the wildest records they can find. The fuse was lit last time with Rocket 88. Now it explodes. Before Elvis, rhythm and blues is already shaking the floorboards. Wynonie Harris belts Good Rockin' Tonight and Loving Machine. Horns blasting, backbeat heavy, hips moving. Big Joe Turner yells, "Shake, rattle and roll," his voice big enough to fill a ballroom. The Domino sneaks 60-Minute Man onto the charts with a wing. In New Orleans, Fats Domino, gentle, round face, always smiling, rolls out the Fat Man, laying down that triplet piano feel that would carry across the nation. And from Detroit, former Domino singer Jackie Wilson breaks out on his own, earning the nickname Mr. Excitement for his incredible vocal range and show-stopping stage presence on tracks like Reet Petite. Radio pulls kids together. Alan Freed, spinning R&B on Cleveland airwaves, calls it rock and roll. When he throws the Moondog Coronation ball in 1952, thousands show up. So many that the concert ends in chaos. But the message is clear. Kids want this music. Independent labels rise to meet demand. Chess in Chicago, Sun in Memphis, Specialty in Los Angeles, Atlantic in New York, King Records in Cincinnati. The 45 single makes songs cheaper. Jukeboxes spread them everywhere. Teenagers turn hits into an economy. And country music's heartbreak still echoes in the mix. Hank Williams, who died in 1953, left songs like Move It On Over and You're Cheating Hard that shaped the language of rockabilly. Memphis, 1954. Sun Records is just a tiny room with a big echo. Sam Phillips has been recording bluesmen, gospel shouters, and hillbilly pickers, dreaming of a sound that crosses the color line. On a summer night, a shy kid from Tupelo walks in, Elvis Presley. Fooling around between takes with guitarist Scotty Moore and bassist Bill Black, he flips Arthur Crudup's That's Alright inside out. Sam hears lightning. When local DJ DeWitt Phillips spins it on the radio, phone lines melt. On stage, Elvis mixes country rhythm, black R&B feel, and gospel release. It's shocking, magnetic, unstoppable. Sun cuts That's Alright backed with Blue Moon of Kentucky. Then Mystery Train. The sound of rockabilly is born. Country snap meeting R&B drive. And Sun's little stable becomes a movement. Carl Perkins, the son of sharecroppers from Tiptonville, Tennessee, writes Blue Suede Shoes, an attitude you can wear on the dance floor. Johnny Cash brings the boom chicka boom, spare and steady, with a poet's eye in I Walk the Line. Jerry Lee Lewis storms in, pounding piano, hair flying, turning a whole lot of shaking going on into pure detonation. And from Texas, Roy Orbison arrives, with a tremulous operatic voice and a dark intensity, a quiet contrast to the rocker's rockabilly. While he scores an early hit with Ooby Dooby, Sam Phillips knows the real fire burns in his ballads. But the big leagues are calling. Late 1955, RCA buys out Elvis's Sun contract for a stunning sum of $35,000. Overnight, the kid from Tupelo is on national TV. Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel, cameras can barely contain him. To millions of teens, Elvis is the feeling that music promised. Danger, sweetness, freedom. Before Elvis sang Hound Dog, it was Willie Mae Big Mama Thornton who cut the track in 1952. Her version was raw, bluesy, and full of fire. The record went to #1 on the R&B chart and laid down the blueprint for how rock and roll singers would approach performance, with grit, attitude, and raw power. Can't forget the blues. Muddy Waters brought the Mississippi blues north to Chicago and plugged it in. Songs like Hoochie Coochie Man and I'm Your Hoochie Coochie Man weren't just blues. They were loud, electric, swaggering. Waters' band would set the stage for what would become rock and roll rhythm sections. And then there was Howlin Wolf with that booming, almost frightening voice. When you hear Smokestack Lightning or Spoonful, you are hearing the primal roots of rock and roll. British bands in the 60s would build entire careers covering the songs, but in the 1950s, Wolf was already doing something dangerous and wild. Meanwhile, Chuck Berry from St. Louis walks into Chess Records with a country tune sped up and wired for city life. Maybelline races like a V8 on an open road. Berry, a hairdresser by trade, has genius for merging country licks with blues phrasing, then writing lyrics about cars, guitars, and high school. And on stage, Barry bent low, scooting across the floor in his now famous duck walk, a move as unforgettable as his riffs, cementing him as rock and roll's first true guitar hero. Roll Over Beethoven, School Day, Johnny Be Good. He gives rock and roll its language and its lead guitar blueprint. At Specialty Records, Little Richard erupts from Macon, Georgia. He shouts Tutti Frutti over pounding piano, glitter flying, Saturday night and Sunday morning colliding in one breathless scream. He's flamboyant, fearless, and absolutely joyful. And then there was Screaming Jay Hawkins. With I Put a Spell on You in 1956, he didn't just sing rock and roll. He turned it into theater. The record itself was so raw it shocked audiences. And soon Hawkins leaned into the wild stage antics, crawling out of coffins, waving skulls and bones, and creating a spooky larger-than-life persona that planted the seed for shock rock. Back in New Orleans, Fats Domino keeps smiling, sending Ain't That a Shame, Blueberry Hill, and I'm Walking across the nation. His warmth makes rock and roll feel welcoming, even as the beat keeps kids dancing.